Welcome back, and you are just in time for our next matchup, Complexity versus Evil Geniuses. And Kobe, EG have had a slow start to the split, to say the least, but a win here could give the team an important moral boost.
Yeah, they did start off pretty rough here. Part of that was due to a tough schedule, though, and the late addition of Altec. But there have been bright spots so far. I mean, Snoopeh had an epic Baron steal that got them on the way to a comeback. And Pobelter has been playing extremely well in the mid lane. However, teams have noticed this, and they've been focusing more pressure towards that mid lane versus the Evil Geniuses.
And meanwhile, Complexity, they're coming off an emotional win against the heavy favorites Cloud9 to end the week 1-3 for themselves.
But despite their early game lead, they nearly let Cloud9 retake the game, and they had a hard time closing it out, something that they've struggled with in the Challenger Series as well.
Yeah, that's very true. And today, they've got a new challenge as they take to the Rift without their mid lane shot caller. That's Probably.
That's right. Taking over this week is mancloud, who played with XEG in the spring split, and he can now be seen in the Challenger Series with Curse Academy.
That's indeed right.
This could be a big impact for Brokenshard as well, because it takes time to get that mid lane and jungler synergy built up. And Brokenshard is also a player that has benefited a lot from Probably's leadership, specifically talking to him.
All right, and being new to the league, Complexity may be susceptible to the emotional highs and lows of playing in the LCS. And Evil Geniuses believe that is something they can take advantage of to get their first win of the split.
The Complexity Black we faced first getting into the LCS is a different form than what they have now. They share the same symptoms that they shared back then, and some of that we share. Very indecisive, rather inconsistent at times. They're a tad more emotional than us, so when they do well, they'll get a little overeager, or when they do poorly, it'll get into their heads.
Although they replaced Yellow Pete for Altec, Altec and Krepo haven't played long together, so they haven't built up a long-term synergy, and they're not always on the same page.
What's really good about EG now is that their two solos are very strong, but they're not consistent. So I'm definitely going to be looking to shut their two solos down. Specifically, I think I'm going to control their jungle, and through the jungle control, I'm going to branch out and start taking out their solos.
One thing we learned about Complexity Black before is that they're a little bit solo queue-esque. They're still knitting together as a team, and on LAN, because they don't have that much experience yet, they can go on tilt. So like you get a little bit of an advantage early, or like you pick off a key few members, then it might snowball, and the players go on a little bit of a tilt.
Brokenshard coming in with like a checkoff list. I'll take your mid lane, and then I'll take this, I'll take this. Once I control the jungle, I'm going to control everything.
It's good to have a plan.
I guess so. Let's check out the starting lineups and see how that plan works. On the blue side, it's Complexity. In the top lane is Westrice. Jungle is Brokenshard. Mid lane is mancloud this week. ROBERTxLEE at AD carry, and Bubbadub on support.
And on the red side, it's Evil Geniuses. Up top, Innox. In the jungle, Snoopeh. Mid, Pobelter. AD carry, Altec, and supporting Krepo.
So Innox has actually been playing quite well for himself. Pobelter as well, off and on. Snoopeh's had his highlights, but EG needs them to come together, and literally both teams need that to come together this week. Knowing that they aren't the strongest teams in the league and they only play each other 4 times, these wins mean a lot.
They have had success against a lot of challenger teams, though, and Complexity are very fresh to the LCS.
Right.
They're still pretty much a challenger team. And bringing in mancloud shifts up everything once again for Complexity. So, you know, this bout is pretty close.
Like you said, Brokenshard taking a little bit of direction from Probably. I feel like somewhat of what EG said, that it's a bit of a solo queue style play, but I almost think that benefits having kind of a sub on your team where everybody knows that you can still do your own thing. And then once you get into the team fights, hopefully everything meshes, because we see teams like Cloud9, old teams like Gambit, when they were just 5 tight players, the team fights can mean the game, even if laning phase went wrong.
Yeah, it can mean everything. And talking about preparation and everyone being on the same page, they've got printed out sheets there for EG. I believe those are pick band sheets.
Getting ready for it. Krepo's going to make people happy this week for the fantasy league.
Oh yeah,
he said. He says everybody. He has to tweet everybody sorry. Well, I'm giving him a little boost. Okay. We'll see. No vouching.
Do you have him?
No.
Okay.
But I'm sure a lot of people do. EG does have that fan base. There are people behind him. Complexity growing. Another one is again coming out of Challenger with quite the fan base to start. And right now, those fans are going to be voting on who they think will win as we head into picks and bans for your second game of the day, Complexity versus Evil Geniuses. You're going to see what these guys have for the mind games before they get to the Rift games. Quick bans, one to the jungle, a few to the mid lane. And Jax, he's been seeing some play back and forth. Innox on those carry top laners, though, and Westrice. Just not something that the teams want to see this game.
Yeah, interesting matchup here from the top laners, because both of them not afraid to take any trades 1 versus 1. We'll have to see if they actually end up meeting 1 versus 1. The very, very popular Shyvana is still available.
Yeah, she's going through this week.
Jack's already being taken off the board. Shyvana extremely strong right now just because she works so well with teleport. You know, being able to jump and have a speed boost when you do come into the teleport kind of takes away that weakness where your tank is joining the fight a little bit late, just because she can cover so much distance when she gets there.
Wow. Besides the Shyvana pick, pretty much going same as last game. Lucian gets himself 2 first picks on the second week of LCS play here in the summer. ROBERTxLEE having the triple last time on that, getting red and blue buff in the bottom lane to snowball over Cloud9, so they're trying to replicate a little bit of that. I don't know if they'll get the triple, but Robert, been one of the better AD carries we've been seeing around.
Yeah, this bottom lane I think is going to determine a lot, because as you're saying, Complexity, one of their biggest strengths has been the bottom lane with ROBERTxLEE, and Altec has not been doing that well in the laning phase. So if Complexity are able to snowball that bottom lane, then that could be their path to victory.
His fight phase, though, he's definitely racked up some kills in that. Altec does know how to position once you get out of that lane. Lulu and Shyvana picked up, as we were just saying. That could go anywhere. We just saw Divers playing Lulu in the top lane for one of the first times we saw in the LCS. And mancloud is going to grab Bubbadub on the Morgana. Just the possibility to get kills in the bottom lane. You're going to hit 1 or 2 dark bindings. And if you can get Robert that advantage, you'll get the win.
So they have that combo too locked in with both Elise and Morgana, that Cloud9 extremely long duration CC skill shot combo. If they both go cooldown reduction, it can be a nightmare in the end game for Evil Genius's front line.
Well, we always know Krepo tries to take Morgana and run super cooldown. That's a big play from him.
Meanwhile, Evil Geniuses looking pretty beefy with their first 2 picks. Support or mid lane Lulu. If she does go mid lane, then they really do need a hard carry from Altec and maybe a little bit of damage from the jungle as well. Let's see what Snoopeh ends up going with. I guess they leave it for the last pick here.
Yeah, interesting.
Altec's loving this Corki, by the way. The mixed damage, pretty big mid-game spike, especially once he completes his Trinity Force.
I like seeing it different too, because Sneaky likes to play it with the Zerka Greaves. You see Altec and other guys playing it with the Sork Boots. Each to his own.
Depends on how you're fighting with Corki. If you're getting off more auto attacks in the fights, or you're shoving a lot more, the Zerka Greaves definitely pay off. But a lot of the poke and the harass is magic damage, and you get a really big boost in damage from Sork Shoes. Yeah, never-ending debate. So, late poke locked in here for Complexity. They've got very strong skill shots on their team.
Wow. Been a while since mancloud brought out the Nidalee for us in the LCS. Always loving the long-range poke. Remember him on Xerath, on Lux, on all of the long-range, but it'll be Nidalee this game.
That puts a lot of pressure on good Shyvana ultis. You have to flank around from the back or get a weird angle where they don't see you coming in order to get into the middle of the team for the Lulu knockup, because Thresh is not a reliable engage for this EG team. They don't really have a very strong range engage for Evil Geniuses to get to that Nidalee besides the Shyvana. So it's going to be important Shyvana Lulu interactions. Okay, now locking in Kha'Zix, they have one more option. He can get in there invisible, but still, it is going to be a lot.
That's a tough team to jump into.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of emphasis on that first Lulu ulti.
Hard enough getting to an AD carry, but when you have Soul Shackles locked onto that cocoon, you're running into, if Westrice hasn't already teleported into the middle of your fight, burning agony constantly. ROBERTxLEE, we'll see what he can do versus Altec. We'll see if they even get matched up in these lanes. We usually see EG try to go for that separately in the 2v2. So they go for the 2v none, as it is right now. So as the teams take to the rift, let's check the fan vote over at LOLesports.com, where 54% of you are calling the game for Complexity's side.
And as always, do not forget to continue voting on Twitter by sending your pick to either hashtag COL win or hashtag EG win at LOL Esports.
So EG saying that they're going to use somewhat of Complexity's time not on the LCS stage in this best of one environment, but they've been challenger. Accordingly, across the board, these guys, most of them have been on the LCS stage, so they somewhat know it. So they're going to have to attack mancloud in the mid lane. Something they may be able to do is kind of get him to fall where he was towards the end of the split with XDG. Wasn't having the best style of play. They were able to kind of shut down the jungler connection with him, and then it was almost done from there.
Yeah, last time mancloud got a new jungler switching Smithy and Zuna. Didn't work out for the beginning. So we'll have to see how he jumps into a whole new team this time around. I mean, you can't really say, hey, mancloud, play like Prawley. Just be Prawley, be our shot caller. Like, when Cloud9 take Link, they're like, okay, just play like High, be our shot caller. And they're like, okay, kind of works.
All right.
You can't do that with Prawley. Prawley's crazy. Nobody could just be Prawley. You can't just play like Prawley.
Yeah.
So.
And then what do? Pick super safe. You can't get LeBlanc in there to get yourself safe. Remember Alex Ish saying, I think it was on LeBlanc and Nidalee, he's like, I hate playing against them because you can't kill them. They're always so safe. So put mancloud on that. Let him do his own thing in mid lane and stay safe. Gonna get into the game. Got some Astro Nautilus shirts represented in the crowd. Pretty great. Love all the league stuff. And everybody here to rep the game, shouting for their favorite teams. Complexity versus EG is our second game of the day. We're out of the base.
All right, let's see. Defensive starts from everybody, as well as normal lane lineups.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna be. I'm excited about that. Got a lot of good fights today. A lot of good matchups.
We'll see how this Thresh and Morgana matchup does end up working out. It's always interesting. Timing on those black shields. A little bit slightly lower cooldown on Thresh Hook. If just one binding lands, it could be a lot of damage follow up there. So Krepo's got to be quick on his feet, and it also means that side lane bush control very important.
Slow waiting. The vote going back and forth just a little bit as teams set up. Another game where it looks like we'll actually have regular starts in the jungle. Nobody's going to be invading on this one. You should always be in the lane bully, like you said. EG's going to have a hard time coming up on this one, but Robert could have the chance to go into the top lane here.
Yeah, definitely going to be a late invade here from Complexity.
They choose it.
See if they walk right through Innox. It looks like they're trying to counter invade, actually. This is the common ledge to stand on. Expecting a swap from EG. There is no swap, though, from EG. They are very confident going with their bottom lane, running into a 2 vs 2 situation. So Complexity are the ones who pull the swap going up top. Now, this is not bad for them. They do have a Spell Thief's Edge on Morgana, which will help harassing that turret down if they want to push it down. If they don't want to push it down, though, actually it hurts his gold generation because he won't be able to get procs on any opponent since nobody's going to be there, 2 vs 0. And he won't want to get too many on the turret because they're trying to leave it up to deny minion waves.
Almost doesn't work out right away. We'll see how they factor in a little bit of that. So far, free farming isn't that hard, so they should be good for the time being. Help here onto the red buff that we see coming in for Brokenshard and Westrice. Innox was a little bit off of Snoopeh taking that on. Innox didn't think that it was going to be ROBERTxLEE and Bubbadub, so he's still level 1, kind of huffing around the jungle as Snoopeh already got 2. Slow rolling here, but it's going to be impact plays now. The red and the blue buff done onto Snoopeh. We'll see if he can get any kills. He's heading towards the white. See what he can do for the mid lane. mancloud staying 10-13 as Pobelter isn't trying to do anything crazy. Oh, there he goes. He's Glitter Lancing. He's just waiting for the right time.
Yeah, Lulu definitely has the advantage early on Nidalee, shoving her in at the weak points where he has no wave clear. It also means you have to worry about early jungle invades because Nidalee will constantly be pushed into a turret. Pretty much both top laners, though, just going with the scavenger-style jungling, picking up scraps.
Damage going ever so slowly to the turrets, but this is good play here from EG. Something we usually don't see is they say, you know what, our bottom side of the jungle was empty. Yours probably isn't. So now both of them are just hovering around Complexity's jungle. This may shut down Brokenshard a bit, but they almost have the same idea. all the way in the top side.
Very,
Brokenshard
yeah,
and
very,
Westrice.
very even starts here for both teams. Pretty much mirrored up until this point, where EG decided to go mid, and Complexity decided to go top.
Gotta stay safe. mancloud saying they showed me a little bit of love mid. Both summoners blown there. We'll see how Complexity reacts to this, because now it's their turn to make a move, and it looks like got seen by the ward. So EG Pobelter privy to that situation, stays safe. Westrice and Innox, or rather Snoopeh and Innox, stay in the jungle together. Slow game.
Yeah, Innox on that Shyvana can actually split up from Snoopeh. Take camps himself. Decent AoE. Westrice and Brokenshard, though, together for life.
Second Doran's coming in for Innox, so it looks like he actually has the idea to stay and keep farming, keep himself safe. Gets a little bit of HP on that buy, as long as some damage.
Have to say, the extended jungling, too, pretty good for Westrice on that Mundo. Doesn't have to worry about his super early squishy phase. If he does try and hold a 2 versus 1, he's got to worry about getting tower dove.
That level 5
If he gets
dive.
a 1 versus 1 with Shyvana, then she has the advantage early. So this extended double jungling is probably the best scenario for Westrice. The ganks, not quite as successful, but back to the jungle with you two.
So as an AD carry in this situation, since you don't see pressure, when is the right time to go back? Since you kind of just left alone, huh?
No, yeah, you just need to control the wave as long as possible. Don't have to rush back. You got to wait for the opening when the other team decides to go for that lane swap.
See ROBERTxLEE, no pressure to go back, as you say. Farming in the face of Innox without too much vision, actually. Nothing underneath him, so he's pretty far out for this time. Looks like he's going to get this wave and actually still keep pushing up.
He doesn't have any vision, though.
No.
Snoopeh coming around.
Very scary situation for an AD carry.
He's got both summoners, though.
It's okay.
Should be able to handle himself.
Use him to live.
Snoopeh's getting in behind him, though.
He's going to have to use that lifeline. He does have the minion wave. Snoopeh making it through. A little jazzed up there on the minions. That was very well played by ROBERTxLEE, except for that part. But then it was good. But no, great play by both guys. ROBERTxLEE kind of do-si-doing around the minions, so can't get a good void spike off there. And looks like we're back to still no kills. 6.5 minutes in. Robert decides to wait for the minion wave to come to him in the top lane, and mancloud just hitting 6. Takes a nice chunk of glitter lance there for Pobelter. 44 to 41, so even pressured up to the turret. mancloud's been doing well here.
Yeah, he's farming very well under his turret so far. Hasn't even fallen behind Lulu. So very good start for them. Now, though, as we approach the 7 minutes, we start worrying about secondary buff spawn, the second blue buff. Blue buff, very important for this Complexity team. Nidalee poke teams really, really want to start with an early lead because Nidalee's power comes from throwing spears. Uh-oh, Krepo does get bound.
That's a close one. Yeah, the black shield's still there. Nice hit by Bubbadub.
The Nidalee poke teams. Yeah. Let's see if we can get the blue buff. Oh, gets in there for the smite. Snoopeh flashes for it.
Go get it. He's running. Snoopeh trying to put on the blue suede shoes to get out of this. He's got a pink there. It's going to be Pobelter. Snoopeh steals Baron last game. He'll take blue buff for now.
The
Good
hero
enough.
steal there from Snoopeh, risking everything for it. I said it was important, but it's not worth dying for. He gets it and gets out. Great play there from Snoopeh, able to deny that blue buff and slow down that Nidalee snowball. She really wants to be able to siege up throw spears offensively. She doesn't have good wave clear, so if they get behind early, then it's very hard for the Nidalee teams to come back.
Hopefully it doesn't crumble into a Snoopeh needs flash situation, but right now definitely playing into their favor. That was mancloud and Brokenshard thinking they had the upper hand until the cavalry of Altec and Krepo alive. Just splitting the D there, tries to get a quick hook through the turret. Altec, 400 damage there, not too shabby. Still waiting for level 6 on the AD carry there. And level 4 for Krepo. He's actually 2 levels behind in that bottom lane.
They've also been able to defend their own blue buff, so this is not going to turn into a blue buff trade. EG pretty much got out scot-free.
Yep.
See if they can make anything happen with this pressure mid, taking advantage of that no wave clear Nidalee, and they do get the early turret. It's going to open up a lot of the jungle for them.
Great play there. I think Brokenshard was getting red, but no other defense on the mid lane. They're all kind of melee, wouldn't have anything to do with it anyways. Good pressure by Evil Geniuses to start, taking a bit of control. 1,000 gold on the board for them in the lead, and they are starting to just do little bits of pressure that they thought Complexity wouldn't. So far, they're right.
Yeah. Taking some risks. They did pay off. They also have okay ward coverage around the river.
Yep.
See any moves from Brokenshard. One of the things about Complexity is that when they do get behind, especially Brokenshard tries to make a lot of risky plays to catch them back up. So if you have vision control versus Complexity, you can take advantage of their willingness to go for risky plays, and you can just snowball your lead so that they don't have any chance of coming back.
This does not look like fun. Level 7 to level 5, now 6. Westrice gets a lot of safety with that level up, puts it right in the ultimate. Looks like he'll find a little bit of pressure here coming from Snoopeh. Remember, Snoopeh's flash is down, so they don't have much crowd control or to anything to stick with Westrice for the ults.
And now Westrice got to worry about that tower dive. There was no flash for Snoopeh. Right. Said might be a factor later. Westrice has his ulti, but really, his ulti just puts him lower when he casts it. So if he does that under his turret, it might make it easier for EG to go through with this tower dive. They don't have deep wards though, so counter gank they have to worry about. Actually calling up Pobelter just to make sure they will have the numbers.
Oh, looks like it's going to be mancloud just on the edge of this one as well. Pobelter walks into the fight. All the players are present. Brokenshard goes up on the rappel. He's going to be all right with just a little bit of HP. Comes down, goes down. Pobelter a sliver as well. The blue buff to be transferred over. He gets out. Flame breath gets him down. They get the shred on him as well. mancloud gets the pounce, gets the kill. Can he get the heal out? Going for one surge. It'll keep him alive. He's got the potion going. The red buff is there, but he can't get anything to match what he needs. Krepo doing what he can in a 2v1 situation. Bubbadub. Watch out on that micro. The turret goes very low to 300 HP, and Krepo in a 2v1 holds it off. EG aggressive on the map. Coming up pretty big.
Very good dive there from EG. They don't focus Westrice. As soon as they see the squishier members show up, Brokenshard on the front side, they target him instead, and they take him out of the fight.
Oh, very nicely done. Hook to the back line. There's Innox coming in the teleport. ROBERTxLEE didn't even expect it, and EG has just turned on the afterburners.
Back-to-back amazing moves from Innox. Up top in the tower dive, he did something extremely smart. When Brokenshard repels up into the sky, he's untargetable, but he can still take AoE damage. So Innox ults and leaves the burning trail under the spot where Brokenshard was. So by the time he comes down, he already dies to the burning fire. Yeah, okay, let's take a look at this replay here. Because Innox, they immediately focus Brokenshard. He jumps up, he leaves the fire trail there. So this whole time, Brokenshard's burning, boom. As soon as he comes down, he's out. And the red buff allows Brokenshard to slow Westrice and screen for Pobelter. Even though he does end up going down here, the teleport later down to the bottom lane as well. So back-to-back plays on both sides of the map for Innox. Pobelter just wants to get a little more fantasy points by taking the kill instead of an assist.
So close to being able, almost got himself killed with that turret shot as well.
Uh-oh, Krepo face checks.
Just a little bit. Brokenshard's gonna have to move out of that one. They'll be safe for now. Innox very big in this game at level 9 in the top lane. Pobelter's 9 as well. Those two the highest in the game, so they know they can control situations like this.
I don't know. It's going to be pretty hard for Complexity to control Innox Shyvana as well.
Right.
He's getting to be a very strong splitless threat. Already Cutlass completed. Looking for a blade build.
Oh, Pobelter a little too far ahead. Ultimate's being used to get himself out, so a bit of an error there, but EG rather has time to work with, if you will. They can make a few errors and they'll still be all right.
The thing is, they're sending Shyvana top right now. He has no teleport for Innox since he just used it bottom. They're pretty much deciding to give away Dragon in favor of getting that large creep wave that is up top. So everybody just spreads out now. Because they have consciously made this decision to give up Dragon, they don't waste anyone else's time by standing around it. They get the top lane wave, they get some jungle camps, they get mid lane wave as well. So they make up a lot of that golden experience by everyone farming it for themselves.
All right, good situation of knowing when you're ahead and what can go to the wayside. Innox in the top lane, like you said, teleport down. So he's looking to spend some time up there. See Westrice in just a few minutes as they're hovering towards the top side of the map. Ward coverage trying to be put down here, keeping safe Altec and Krepo in the bottom lane. mancloud picks up the buffs. Looks like they're going to give that over to Pobelter quite soon. So back to being aggressive. Mid laners back to trying to kill each other. Exactly what we like.
mancloud going to be very happy with the respawn blue buff there. He is definitely down in items though. Spear's going to be less impactful than he would
and
want.
CS. Few tries for the kill. Krepo always won in the lane to be aggressive. And
Yeah, now
helps each other.
sometimes you want to throw out those hooks even when it won't result in much. In that instance, even if that hook did land, it would just be a slightly favorable trade as far as damage in lane is concerned. But really what you're gaining is information on how your opponent likes to dodge. So you send out a couple of those hooks to figure out if there's any patterns with your opponent, and it allows you to predict for when the crucial hook does come around. That will actually result in summer spells and kills. You'll be able to more frequently land in those important ones.
It's almost like learning while you play. Gotta figure
It's like
it out.
poker. You gotta get down, is this guy a bluffer? Yeah.
Oh,
Is he a very aggressive player?
Figure out how they're gonna move. You just stare him straight in the eye and miss anyways. Coming up on 16 minutes, still a bit of a goal lead here for EG, but this is the part of the game where teams start to slow down. Everybody kind of is not in chaos here, but they're trying to push themselves into a situation where they'll continue their lead. EG is completely spread out across the map, which is not bad, but they're not really giving themselves a chance to move forward with anything.
Yeah, and really up in that top lane, EG, Innox can't do a whole lot. He can't go super aggressive and push his lead because they don't have vision. If they want to take advantage of that, then they need more vision. Snoopeh jumps in bottom.
Pobelter going down to the bottom lane. It's going to be a lot of dead complexity members. Brokenshard tries to stay, give ROBERTxLEE the benefit and get him out safe, but it does not look like they'll be able to clean up too much. Whoa, wait a minute. This little pinch move coming in here from Complexity could have a very good result, but maybe not. Washed out goes ROBERTxLEE. Bubbadub goes down. Krepo gets hit. The cleaver to the backside. And Complexity is trying to find solace under the turret. Innox goes in hard. He is 2-1-3 right now. He's big, but he may be bigger than he thinks he is. Going into this, dodging out the spear. mancloud picks it up, and with the blue buff that mancloud has, oh, Snoopeh! The cleaver hits Innox. No pie to the face for the back line. And they are all so low as they limp away from the fight. Innox just ducking out on that one. Scratching his head as well. They get out of this safely, but both teams testing each other to the max.
What a ridiculous bot lane. I guess we can call that a fight.
Scrap.
That was a brawl
Would have been
for sure.
Scrap.
Random projectiles flying all over the screen for the next 5 minutes here. So it starts off a good dive by EG. They get pretty deep here though, and they aren't able to get Robert because of the flash, zoning him out. Once the Mandatory Cloud lands his spear, he arrives with the blue buff. It gets dangerous because Westrice teleports in first, and a good cocoon from Brokenshard is able to lock up Snoopeh. They don't finish him, but they do draw in 2 members of EG, get him low enough to get picked off.
That was a hungry fight. That was a lot of blind movement. After everybody got into that brush, they're like, let's just keep going. I'm tunneled. We're going into this fight. 8-3 now with 18 minutes on the clock. Teams are trying to get everything they can out of these fights, and it shows. 4,000 gold in the lead as Complexity picks up their map control. People loving it. And it looks like 2 turrets are the favor of EG as well, so the map that much more closed down. Just being opened up like a present for EG.
Towards the mid game here too. They can really rely on this Innox split push. His teleport's up now, his Blade of the Ruined King is completed. He is a very fearsome top lane force over there. And the rest of the team is very secure with their 4 versus 4 situation because they have Thresh and Lulu, 2 very strong supports for the disengage if they need it. That can supplement the power of this jungle Kha'Zix.
Ruh-roh, Westrice getting caught out. Not really seeing a ward over there as well. Looks like it was actually swept during the situation, so he was trying to give the team cover, but an unfortunate situation gives the domino effect to Complexity members here, and now 2 have fallen just for that.
Yeah, Complexity looking a little disoriented there. Catching out Westrice all by his lonesome from Evil Geniuses from the mid lane here, and nobody collapses really. Mundo's doing his tanking while no damage is being dealt. And it's going to spell bad things for your team.
EG keeping themselves in the position they need to take advantage of what they said in the beginning of the game. Complexity may not be ready for LCS games on the stage, especially with a new mid laner. So you catch them off guard. You catch one person off on the side. The calls aren't there for Complexity right now, and EG's going right through to those calls.
Yeah, their lack of Prawley in the mid lane, the main shot caller definitely hurting them now, showing through. See if they can actually turn it around though, because pretty big deficit to work back from here. It's pretty much turtle mode. They do have that random factor though. They've got so much power in skill shots. Elise Cocoon, Morgana bindings, Nidalee spears. If they can get consecutive skill shots to land, they can still turn this around.
See what they get on Dragon here.
Oh, there's one that's
That'll do.
not going to help.
Now, very interesting here by ROBERTxLEE, because you've heard different things. We'll see if Westrice actually tries to fight this. You're getting the noodles out, no fight. Altec builds the Phage first, but ROBERTxLEE pieces together the Crystal and the Ability Tome, which don't really provide you much as you're going towards the Sheen. Do you piece that together, or do you go for the health and the damage?
Yeah, he really wants that mid-game burst of the Sheen damage. Like I was saying last game, it just helps out so much for these mid-game skirmishes. And Complexity are behind right now. They really need something to help them turn around a mid-game fight so they can get back in.
So still piece it together.
Burst of damage from that Sheen. He needs it as soon as possible, even though he could just get those pieces. He wants to be able to complete it.
Right on, we see the top left, Westrice's teleport is down. That was canceled out by Innox. It's a great job. Just really shutting down Westrice. 155 to 105 in that lane, looking down to the mid now, 181 to 148 in creep score. So really great job by the solo lanes, and really the people, if you'd say EG, you've been looking at Pobelter and Innox. Those solo lanes have been doing a lot for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, and Snoopeh has not died this time around. With Kha'Zix, it's always nice to be able to have a Lulu to work with, because Kha'Zix really loves getting into the mid lane or into the melee, and he builds damage early, so he needs something else to use for his defenses. Lulu shields and ultis are just what the doctor ordered for him.
Innox, one last breath on his turret, saves it from going down for now. Keeps the push going, so he'll be able to farm pretty nicely here as long as he wants. And EG's in control of the game. Like we said, they have some time to allow errors, allow some things to happen, but it's not on their plate. They're looking to close this one out. Our previous game ended only 7 minutes from now. Just imagine that.
Oh, Westrice.
Huzzah! That's the box as well. You might be able to get out. There's a bump. There's a few more. He's not getting out. They set a fire under his feet. He's not able to get very far. Altec joins the party with the Thresh Express Lantern, and it looks like they're going to be getting a turret out of this one. Once again, one person's been taken out in a row.
Yeah, you really got to be careful when you're this far behind and the entire map is being controlled by your opponents. Venturing into your own jungle, it's not really your own jungle, especially when you don't have vision of that top side.
You no longer have the deed.
You can definitely commend Complexity for their defensive vision on their red side, but all that it takes is blue side 1 kill turret, and they immediately move right over to Baron. This is EG going for the killing blow here once they get Baron.
That is a dark vision on Baron. mancloud's going to swipe it down in Cougar form. And EG with great breadcrumb wards along their backside. Keeps them safe. The teleport to the bottom lane. It's kind of everything's just falling into place for EG right now when they need it to.
Even able to teleport up to that bottom lane so that they don't lose turret out in exchange. They really didn't even have to trade anything for that Baron.
Almost free. Nothing is free though, ever.
Innox pretty beefy now as well. Both of the melee damage sources are transitioning into tank builds. It's going to be very hard for Complexity, even if they do land consecutive skill shots. These guys are tanky enough now that they can survive it. And there's Ben and McHale's added to get the first recipient of a CC.
Right. Not only did EG kind of make the solo lanes go well, Altec got out of laning phase at 0, 0, and 4. And if these fight phase go as they have for him, he's going to be getting 4 or 5 kills before the end of the game.
He has been shining in the team fights, so EG are pretty much at the exact spot they wanted to be. Looking pretty strong.
Like we said, all these games today will even the teams out. I believe if EG wins this one, they even up with complexity. Each game is like that today that we have. Somebody can even it out. We'll have to see if EG will be able to. They're looking pretty good so far. Mikhail's Crucible fixed up as well, so even more safety if Pobelter's Wild Growth does not get enough pressure down to help the disengage. 1:30 left on Dragon. There's not going to be a teleport for that, at least for Innox. So we'll see what he does. The team, again, on the top side of the jungle. Oh. The Vision Wars going down. Smart by Complexity to kind of not engage.
That ward barely on the other side here from the pink. Not going to be seen by EG. So, Complexity get a little knowledge, but they can't do anything with it. So really, they're just looking to hold on to these turrets.
Yep.
See if they can do it. It's going to have to be multiple Nidalee spears onto Altec specifically.
Oh! Tried to get it in the death of the minion, Krepo. A little sneak games with his death sentence there. Seen by mancloud, he knows. As you can see, mancloud playing the Fog of War games with spears at the moment. Snoopeh getting caught out here. I like the way Snoopeh's kind of built up. He's got one giant spell and the Negatron cloak, because piecing together everything will keep him alive.
Yeah, you can see there, even though he gets hit up by the CC and consecutive spear, one shield from Lulu. And it means nothing.
Krepo eating that one to the face. He should be all right, though. Pretty well. He's got the Kindle Gem, actually, for a bit more of the HP. Okay, second one, that's a little too much. See if a third one gets in there. Level 13s and 15s on the side of EG right now. There are no 15s or even 14s for Complexity, so they are really on the back foot.
And Brokenshard's been kind of behind most of this game.
Yeah.
He's built fully defensively here, yet he's still extremely squishy.
Even cooldown, yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty rough game for him. He is trying to go team-oriented though. Gets the aura, magic resist aura for the rest of his team. Trying to help out everybody.
All about EG's ability now to close out the game. Looking very good in gold. Awesome in kills right now. 5-2 in turrets. Probably use a little bit more. The bottom one is easily focused if they can get these minion waves down. They got about a minute left on Baron, +3 for the respawn. So they got time to work with.
And they laid a lot of vision down here in the blue side jungle that is getting swept out by Complexity. So Complexity, look how scary this has got to be though. They don't see anyone on the map while they're clearing out this vision. So dangerous to do. Got to be able to time those recalls though. One of the biggest things in the game is being able to extrapolate the small amount of information that you get and figure out where people are going to be for the next 30 seconds. You just saw him recalling from bottom. Don't have to be worried that he's in your blue side jungle at your river until about 40 more seconds.
I like that. Gauge the time of where someone is in 30 seconds. It's a good rule of thumb. 27.5. Let's see if Pobelter and Krepo in the bottom lane gauge how much time they have down here. They do have Altec. He's roaming a little slow. He won't be going over any wards, but this is where EG can also get themselves into a scary spot when they're trying to catch up with each other and not everything's formulated just yet. They're not that far ahead of the game. Something can still go wrong.
Everything going right for EG right now. They're just relying on split push Shyvana. As we said, teleport is ready. The rest of the team easily taking out the bottom turret before Complexity are able to get down there. Now though, comes the hardest egg to crack. The inhibitor turret line.
Yeah. It's kind of nice. All they have is really Lucian calling to clear out a wave. So once they get their poke in there, they got Corki and Lulu.
Yeah, it's slow work for EG. Getting up into this inhibitor line here. We'll see if they can actually make something happen in the next minute. If they don't, in the next maybe 45 seconds or so, then they'll probably make the call just to control, again, the vision around blue side so they can take the next Baron easily. If they go and spend their time right now to clear out Complexity's wards through the blue side jungle that will lead up to Baron, then they can easily force Complexity into one of those very scary situations where they have no vision and they are worried about giving up the free Barons, forcing them to face check.
And look at, we can see Complexity trying to put together the binding in the cocoon, but never a follow-up. So now EG's waiting for it. Once again, they'll have wards in place. However, once it happens the other way, Pobelter taking some damage there, but Brokenshard's forced into repel immediately.
Another one lands.
Lot's being used for Complexity not to fully engage here. They want some breathing room, and it looks like they're going to get it. Whoa! I think that would have been the one.
Innox still holding on to his teleport, too. Didn't decide to blow it there. EG playing it cool.
Calling down Westrice. Snoopeh's going to be forced to back off here. Snoopeh low on mana, Pobelter low on health, so is Krepo. Be very dangerous to keep toying with this situation. You can see EG backing now in the bottom lane. 11 seconds on Baron. Really timing everything once again for EG to be in position. They are. 30 minutes coming up on the clock. Very careful. Complexity feels like they have it. Well, they do have a pink ward above them. There we go. Just seeing it on the mini map. They are safe. Looks like Brokenshard will stay with Robert. Just for a little extra safety.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. It's always been kind of an EG game though, right? Slow and steady.
It has. These players, there's only 2 of them left now, but both Snoopeh and Krepo have no problem.
That initial strategy still lives strong.
This time, though, they're actually on the upper hand. Usually when they're playing these long games, it was them defending their turrets.
Setting up a garrison in each wall of the base.
This time they're sieging up. Trying to win this war, though, is actually dangerous. So many skill shots hitting here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, he lands.
It's exactly what you want as a Nidalee, just to be able to huff spears into the entire team. Snoopeh looking very big, but he's just eating the calling for breakfast. Innox now in the front line. They're not even taking damage practically, sharing it across each other perfectly. Snoopeh back into the fight in a 3v1 as he's quickly out of that with the second invisibility. And it looks like they're going to be able to run through this one very nicely. A good try by Brokenshard to find his target, but Evil Geniuses goes through the batting order and finds their target even better.
Let's see what mancloud can do. It's pretty much up to him. If he can land a couple spears, maybe try and scare them off Baron. It is such a risky mission, though. This is ridiculously rough for mancloud here. Just straight up base checking into a 5-man Baron squad, hoping for a God Spear.
That would have been a Baron Steel Spear, but not too much going in the way of damage. Krepo blinking red, Innox blinking red. Pobelter gets hit right in the kisser. ROBERTxLEE goes down as he tries to turn and run. Very nice job. EG coming up again with Baron. Full domination over this game, and they're keeping it very nicely.
Yeah, that was just the desperation there from Complexity. Of course, can't really blame them for trying to pull something out here. Otherwise, they would just lose slowly. Take a look at that. Innox, though, coming in from the back. Able to arrive and just Shyvana ulti Bubbadub right back into the team. And they actually take him out. There we go.
Man.
Nobody goes down for EG, as we know, even in their follow-up Baron here. Broken does a good thing trying to go for Snoopeh, but as we said, he built fully tank. The execute damage not there. He does not have the spell penetration to back it up.
Props to Krepo in these fights. Multiple times he's gotten out with pretty much sub 200, sub 100, but he's still on the outside throwing lanterns to the team for safety, knowing what needs to happen. Gets down some more wards, fully upgraded on his items as well. Gets himself a little bit of extra movement on the alacrity going into his mobility boots, so he's looking to make some things happen. They're looking to end this game quite soon, letting it go a little long. Now, is there potential to be worried for the team Complexity to come back here? They're not looking too late game.
Yeah, I mean, you can say there's always potential for comebacks, but it is low chance.
Low chance.
Say that. Innox, though, since he's actually gone second damage item here instead of stacking on just more armor, the tower dive might be a little bit more risky for EG. That being said, he is ridiculously strong, and he actually has the damage to 1 versus 1 anyone on this team, even under a turret. So not really a blessing there for Complexity. Evil Geniuses definitely can just return to the same strategy and push right in.
Looking around at all the armor, ROBERTxLEE yet to finish that last Whisper. It'd be like shooting a brick wall for him right now as he goes up against Innox, even up against Snoopeh, who's going to be right in his face. This is where mancloud really can step up the game for the team. More spears, but EG in their face immediately, denying that space he needs to throw the spears, and they're going to try to engage. Snoopeh instantly onto mancloud, forcing Cougar form in the middle of the fight and out of the fight onto Brokenshard. No repel from him. Westrice is the next focus, and the EG comms must be going wild right now with Complexity names going down.
They just don't give you any time to throw out spears. No time to throw skill shots. Run up and obliterate the turret.
Right up in your face. Riot Shield there as well, present to be used. 34 minutes on the clock. Looks like they're going to be able to take down a second Nexus turret as Complexity tries to pepper EG out of the base. It's not going to be enough damage. Altec going to zero out Bubbadub by himself. A little bit of the assist coming in on the side of Krepo. ROBERTxLEE down on the fountain. Snoopeh dumps it out alive. He grits his teeth as EG takes down Complexity, coming in at 34 minutes.
Big win for Complexity. I mean, for EG, right there, excuse me, against Complexity. It does bring them to tied there for a bottom spot for 7th, I guess. 7th and 8th for both of those guys. And those are the most important wins.
Yeah,
they're trying to get not only a win for themselves, but also a loss for Complexity, who's the team that they're trying to push under them in the standings.
Complexity, with a great start, dominated Cloud9. Were able to hold a great snowball. And now taking out Complexity obviously has to feel good. Fighting Cloud9 is a whole different hurdle. Nothing connects there. But still, for this to happen, a new leaf, or just a leaf in general, needed to be turned over here for EG because they were looking like they were gonna, history repeats itself for last split.
Well, they got a new young guy. They started out with Pobelter. Now adding Altec in takes a little while to get used to it. But yeah, they have shown up pretty big in this game. Not much to say there. They definitely controlled the game all the way through and racked up a lot of points on the way to doing it.
Yeah, they did. Very nicely played. 5-1 and 11. Pobelter coming in. Innox 4-1 and 10. Those solo lanes going off. And Altec, like you said, he only had the assists when he started, but he picked up 3 kills. 3, 0, and 9. Still had a great game, and we only talk about his struggling laning phase, but he knows how to get out of it.
And Innox on that Shyvana, what a beast. Got his lead over Westrice and never let it go.
It's got to feel good for him, too, because that was something he was kind of in the middle on. There was like a no man's land for him. They're like, yeah, you can kind of hit up some carries, but we need you to be a tank this game. But now he's providing both roles and initiating.
It's like, okay, I'll play Shyvana, but I'm building a Blade of the Ruined King and a Hydra.
Making sure it works. Snoopeh as well, 2 times on Kha'Zix now, really playing great pressure games. Stole the Baron in that one game he had and put pressure enough to just take the blue away from mancloud. Have the mind to hurt what could be the weak link sub coming in.
Yeah, that was a ballsy move.
It was. And he made it out.
Jumping in there
like, Pobelter, come and help me.
For that blue steal, and he did pull it off, which was a pretty big turning point for them in that game, actually.
Altec still loving Corki, kind of bringing that flavor back for everyone to be loving as well. A little different build whenever you need to, but he is coming out strong. I think his Corki pick a lot is for that laning safety that we always talk about. He doesn't have too good of a lane in. You give him a Thrashhook and Lantern, and you give him a Valkyrie to stay safe. He never died in lane.
Yeah, and we saw the mid-game teamfight power of Altec on that Corki.
Right.
Especially after he started making his way towards that Trinity Force. Lots of burst and plenty of sustained damage as well.
Something to look at this game is how much of an integral part Probably is for Complexity. How strong he makes that team. Those calls, having that camaraderie there with the team, and just kind of that jovial personality is very uplifting.
Yeah, they did look a little bit lost during this game.
They did. All right, for more on EG's win, let's send it over to Freak at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. We're joined by the bot lane duo of Evil Geniuses, Altec, Krepo. Guys, congrats on the win. So let's start the game with Champ Select. They ended up putting together a pretty obvious poke comp. When did you guys sort of identify this, and how did you decide to play around it?
Well, we actually had the entire pick and ban phase, or at least the ban phase dropped on a piece of paper. So I'm like, yeah, we prepared for this. It's on the paper. We know what to do like this time. And yeah, well, once they started locking in all these poke champs, you generally know like the rest of them are gonna follow. And even then, if you didn't know, you can still identify that in game. A poke comp, you can play different things into it. You just need to identify, one, if you're strong or not in a team fight. Like, if they go for an objective, they have to poke. We've made that mistake in the past, just trying to team fight with a poke comp and then you lose. So it's not as much as seeing it coming, it's just knowing how to play around it.
And you guys did really well. So speaking more of Champ Select, Altec, you've been playing a lot of Corki. You seem to be one of the only AD carries that keeps going back to him. Why is this a champion for you?
When Twitch and Lucian are banned, like those are like the top 2 ADs right now. So I'm generally more comfortable on just picking Corki when those 2 are picked or banned.
Is there something that he brings to a team that you have to work around?
He brings a lot of poke and wave clear. If we don't have wave clear, then Corki is a pretty good pick.
Okay. Krepo, do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, he had a little more wave clear than, say, a Graves would have, for example. I mean, Graves has to get a little closer to get that wave clear. He had a lot of safe wave clear. He's a little more mobile because his Valkyrie goes a little longer, and he can actually help burst the spell shields down. If you're looking to siege and they spell shield up, he can actually poke that down. I just like playing with his Corki. Goes really well most of the time. Better than his Kog'Maw so far.
What's the Kog'Maw stories?
Well, we just lost lane in solo queue. That's all.
Okay. So speaking of you guys playing together, of course, you guys have only been, I guess, playing together for now like barely more than a week here. How's the synergy going with you guys?
Yeah, Johnny, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. There are just some little communication errors that we tend to have not fixed yet, but overall, like in the next few weeks, it should be cleaned up.
Did your styles kind of initially mesh, or are you kind of working out how you want to play the lane together?
We're trying to work it out still, but it'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, from my side, well, obviously last split we didn't have the greatest bot lane in the world, and even though we replaced Yellowpleat, that doesn't mean that Yellowpleat was the only problem. Clearly, there must be something I was doing wrong. So I'm just trying not to mold Altec in the second form, like saying like you need to do this, you need to do. I want him to just tell me you're screwing up, like you should do this differently, and it's working. Like we're just trying to give solutions to certain problems and see if we agree on the solution or not, and we're just trying to play as much as we can. He's still in school, so after his school hours, we try to do a queue as much as we can, and it's getting there. I'm getting more confident every week just in our laning ability.
Well, it's good to hear. So actually, speaking of your laning ability, you guys actually had a battle down in the bot lane under the turret. It's pretty hectic. If we can get
Bot
the
lane party?
Yeah, it was a bit of a party, a brawl, as the casters called it. When you guys want to walk me through this interesting fight.
Well, it's like mid-game, so we're trying to open up on towers. So Snoopeh initially called that he wants to roam down, I think, with Pobelter and Lulu and just start sieging this tower. But I feel they had TP up on us, and we didn't. So it ended up going a little longer. If we roll the clip, then I might be able to remember. So I go for the hook. Obviously, I miss. We see Bubbadub's getting caught, though, so we initiate on him. It's all good and dandy here. I feel this is where half of us want to back up, and Snoopeh's like calling, no, we can go in, we can go in, we can get them, we can get them. We're chasing. I'm at the other end of the tower having my lantern ready, and now like their backup's coming in, so it gets a little iffy. And this is just where your solo queue mind kicks in. I mean, you can call turns, like we turn on Mundo right here, I believe, and we try to burst him down, but this is why you play a lot of solo queue, these situations, because they're so erratic and unpredictable that you just need to try dodge skill shots. Almost had my lantern up there, so I would have lived if I had like one more second. But I feel like we played this alright. Tyson came in time. Like we got the backup. We're playing these team fight comps, no longer super split comps. And that's just the power of Shyvana as well. She can just come in late, jump over a wall, get really tanky, and try and turn that around. I feel we could have played this a little better than we ended up doing. But I was happy that we were going for these confident plays. You know, we weren't too afraid to commit to this. And even if they go wrong, so be it, and try and adapt. And then I like the outcome of it.
Yeah, you guys obviously won the game. Were you more confident because Complexity is running with a sub? Were they weaker than they normally are?
It helps. I mean, I think mancloud is a really good player, but obviously if you only have 1 week, we know how it feels to play only 1 week with new players, and there's going to be certain tendencies that that you just can't rely on yet.
Okay, so I actually want to go back and talk about the sort of the new bot lane you guys have, because you posted that you were holding open tryouts. Of course, Altec, you were one of them. What was the tryout process like? Like, what did you get tested on? Like, how was that whole process?
Just like laning, like mistakes and whatnot, and rotations. If like I could make calls in lane and stuff, it's like, hey, Krepo, don't do this, do that.
So tell Krepo what to do all the time, as long as you're always right.
Get more of a vocal AD carry out there, because I really like when Altec just tells me what to do, because I feel after playing so long, I'm gonna get making these mistakes over and over that I just don't see anymore, and we need like either an analyst or somebody else to come in and say like, hey, I see you're doing this pattern, stop doing that. And I think Johnny can get there for sure. Like he understands the game really well, so we'll get there.
Cool. Yeah, and you guys are obviously doing really well. This is a good win here on this one. So then, one final question for you, Altec. you played with Cloud9 Tempest. Of course, you guys did fall short in the promo tournament. What was the road like where you're like, crap, we almost made LCS, and then you're back into it? Like, what was that sort of like month span?
When we lost to EG, I was like, damn, this is like pretty depressing, but
Thank you.
but afterwards, I went through the trial process and I'm like, oh, sweet. And I'm also glad that Glebe made TSM too.
Yeah, so you guys, you've already fought each other once. You'll fight 3 more times. Extra special rivalry when you fight TSM?
Yeah.
Gotta beat him up.
Definitely want to win.
All right, so tomorrow, final question for you guys. You guys fight Curse. Curse is half a game up on you. How's that battle gonna go?
I think we're pretty confident. We just have to like nail stuff down, make sure everyone's on the same page. But overall, we have like a general idea going to tomorrow.
Krepo?
Yeah, coming, I think their popular teams are getting on stage right now. Coming out, because that's not for me. Coming out of the first week, we expected Curse to do really well because they were doing well in scrims and they seemed confident, but they just had something go wrong every game. I still remember the CLG game they played. They just got caught level 1, walk into lane, and that just kind of set the tone for that game. So I feel their morale will be a little lower, and they've already exposed some of their comfort picks already, so we hope to learn from week 1, and we're getting better. Hopefully they're getting morale's a little down after a disappointing week 1, and then just hope to capitalize on that.
All right, well, guys, congratulations on your win. Thank you so much for your time. Krepo, I will always cheer for you.
Yes, thank you.
Just so you know, because you like puns, and that makes me happy. Guys, anyway, thank you again very much for your time. Good luck tomorrow. But we've got more games going on. Going to take a quick break, which means you have 3.5 minutes before we jump into our next game, which is LMQ versus Dignitas. And with only 1 game separating the teams, you're not going to want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Need Lulu here?
I'm here.
Elise stop, Elise stop. Where's the Nidalee? Elise, go on Elise. Elise. He's almost dead, Elise, going on Nidalee, going on Nidalee. Going on Nidalee. Going on Mundo. Multi, going up.
Nice. Good job, okay, I need to get out.
Going on. There's no flash.
Okay, coming.
We have TP. What's the TP at?
I'm dead. Got it, 20.
Nice.
What are you doing?